Hey everybody, it's Josh. I know how hard it is when you feel desperate in life and it seems like God remains hidden from you. It makes you feel like you're unworthy. Maybe you hear or see the stories of others who felt God in their lives, who've been transformed by Him, and yet you continue on in this suffering, in this emptiness, and there's nothing. Why would a loving God leave you like this? You start to compare Him to the other people in your life who have let you down. You start to compare Him to the other things in your life who've let you down. Maybe you've had an addiction. Maybe you've had a relationship where someone's abandoned you. Maybe your parent, maybe your spouse, maybe your children. It just makes you remember these things. Remember the aching heartbreak. God is not letting you suffer to punish you. Jesus Christ came to this earth, to the poor, the weak, and the oppressed. He is here for the heartbroken. He is here for the weak and the poor in spirit. Jesus Christ does not want you to suffer. However, suffering is a must. Suffering will lead you to salvation. What does that mean? Why did Jesus come to be this suffering servant and not some conquering king? Because there's prophecies in the Old Testament about a conquering king and a suffering servant. He did not come as the conquering king, not until the next time He comes back. He came as that suffering servant, because within that suffering we find ourselves. Within the struggles in our lives, we find ourselves. I know that the hiddenness of God makes Him seem like He's not even real. Or again, like maybe you're not worthy of Him. You don't understand why He has abandoned you. My Lord, why have you forsaken me? As Jesus Christ said on the cross. That is a lament of King David. That is the greatest prophecy of Jesus Christ, Psalm number 22. Why have you forsaken me? That hurt, that desperation, that heartbreak, that weakness, that brokenness. That is what opens your eyes. That is what will finally help you see the true beauty of this life. There is a way to find God in your life. But I can tell you the one thing that keeps us from Him is our pride. And we don't think of being in this desperate time in our life, this time when maybe we're sick, maybe we're lost. We don't think of still being prideful in this time. But see, pride manifests in so many different ways in our life. It is a way the devil keeps you imprisoned. Because we have this pride, and it's not just that our pride is stroked, our ego is stroked to make us feel like we're so much better than everyone else. It also is that even though God has saved all of these people, all of these broken people, the Apostle Paul, maybe one of the most evil men, one of the greatest enemies of Christianity, tracked, tortured, and killed Christians. And yet he was redeemed. King David slept with a woman against her will, took her, his best friend's and greatest general's wife, saw her bathing on the roof, had his servants go get her, laid with her against her will, got her pregnant, and then when he got her pregnant, he tried to get his best friend, his best general, back from war. He called Uriah back from the war he was fighting for him. But Uriah was too committed to the war, and he said, Lord, we are so close to victory. And he would not come back and lay with his wife, so King David could cover up his affair, his debauchery. So what did King David do? He had Uriah killed. It's absolutely pride to think that King David, that the Apostle Paul, that Peter, who denied Christ 3 times in his greatest time of need, all of these broken people, they can be saved, but you can't. And I always, when people are asking me or saying they are unworthy, I bring up the book of Jonah, where Jonah is told to go and preach to the Ninevites, that's the capital of Assyria, who are their greatest enemy. They're occupying Israel at the time. They were considered especially evil. And this is during Old Testament times. Especially evil now is bad. Especially evil in Old Testament times. You're talking about a pre-Christ time where radical love and forgiveness was not part of the narrative in this world. Jonah didn't want to go preach to them. Jonah hated them. He said, I'd rather die. And God kept guiding him back there. Ended up in the belly of a fish or a whale or something for 3 days and 3 nights. Vomited it up on the shore. So he went finally. He kept trying to get away, but God said, no, you're going there to preach. He finally went and preached to them to repent. And they did. And God showed mercy on them. Jonah wasn't happy about it. Jonah was really mad. But that 100,000 plus people who God said didn't know their right hand from their left, they can be saved. These cannibalistic, maybe, these people who were engaging in child sacrifice, selling themselves at the temple. These people can be saved, but you can't. It's a pride. It's an ego. Saying, not that I'm too good, that I'm too bad. No way God would overlook my many sins. I'm too broken. I urge all of you, every single one of you, and I urge even those who have a relationship with God, to go out and to live in a way that is radically loving, radically forgiving, radically compassionate, radically empathetic. If you truly want a relationship with God, then you must engage in that relationship. It is not just you sit back in your brokenness and he comes and he saves you. No, you must answer the calling. Because as Jesus said in the parable of the wedding feast, many are called, but few are chosen. Why? Because we expect things from God. We expect him to come and do things. We might say that we will surrender to God, but we don't genuinely mean it. You have to literally show you are willing to give your life to Him. And I say, if you are suffering so bad, what do you have to lose? You have everything to gain and absolutely nothing to lose. Maybe a couple hours of your time, which you spend in hell anyway. Please, take time every single day to go into prayer. I say go out into the wilderness. Because in places, beautiful places like this, in the woods, by a river or a lake or the ocean and the mountains, these are the places you can hear God so clearly. And I go out and I talk to Him, and then I listen to how He responds to me. It's a give and a take. Yes, I am not capable of the love that He gives me until He gives it to me, but you still must pursue it with a genuine pursuit. Not a prideful pursuit, because that's how we live our lives. We live our lives in these prideful pursuits. Maybe a lot of times in our brokenness, we like having that thing to complain about. We want people to feel sorry for us. I'm not saying that's always the case, but a lot of times it is. It was in my case, and I didn't even understand it at the time, because you cannot understand it. That in a way, it was all I had left. I didn't think God would come into my life and save me. I didn't even know if there was a God, at least an intervening God. So I had nothing, and I would hang on to anything I had left. And that was feeling sorry for myself, complaining about my life to others, hating myself, and having people say, oh, I'm so sorry for you. Since I had nothing else, that was all I had to hang on to. People feeling sorry for me. And listen, if that's the way you want to live it, nobody's stopping you. But you're just adding on to the darkness. And really, there's going to be a time when you complain so much. Oh, poor me. God won't come and save me from this hell. And people will just abandon you completely, if they haven't already. They abandoned me. Everyone in my life around me was miserable because I was miserable. It was like the darkness was a plague, and it was spreading. You could see the rot and the entropy just spreading to everyone in my vicinity. A desperation in life. And there was no breaking out of it until I finally had enough. Have you had enough? Have you suffered enough, or do you want to still hang on to that suffering? Because I promise you, God will save you from that suffering. Go out into the wilderness. If it's impossible for you to get into the wilderness, go to a room and shut the door behind you. Take time, carve out as much time as you can to talk to God and to listen patiently for His response. To focus on His response, not focus on, oh, poor me, my many problems. That's what you're laying at His feet. You're laying your suffering, your brokenness, your weakness at His feet. And you are waiting, saying, okay, Lord, all my chips are on the table. I will give myself to you if you just show me how. I understand you don't know how. I understand. And my heart aches for you. It does. So much. Christ is present in our suffering. He is close to the heartbroken. He is near to the crushed and to the broken of spirit. He's not just some distant, unknown, unseen God. No, he came to this world to reveal himself to us. He doesn't come down with all his might and hover over us. I am God, I'm here. No, if he did that, there would be no loving relationship. There would be a fear. We would be slaves. We would be robots. We would be puppets. And God doesn't need that. He wants a loving relationship. And I get it. Maybe you don't know how to have a loving relationship. I surely didn't. We don't know what love is until God shows us what love is. That is why the brokenness, the suffering must be present. If you aren't broken, you will remain clinging to your misguided, preconceived notions of what love is. The Koine Greeks, which was what the New Testament was written in, there were 8 words for love. But the love of God was a selfless and sacrificial love called agape love. You don't know what that is until you can finally surrender to him. Because that, while that is as close as language can get to what God shows us, it doesn't even come near to explaining what that love truly is, what that love truly does in our life. Go and have that relationship with him. Start that relationship. If he doesn't answer you, then just go and talk to him. Go and pray as deeply as you can to him. And don't pray for things you think you want. Just tell him about your suffering and pain. Ask him only to help you open your spiritual eyes and ears, only to conform to his will. Because as long as you're living for yourself, it might not be your own righteousness and glory, it might be your own self-pity. Whatever way that pride manifests in your life, that is keeping you from him. I know it's so hard. And I love you. I love you because God loved me when I couldn't love myself. And he opened up a new world, a new universe that is bound to this love, this deep, radical love. As John says in 1 John chapter 4, as the Apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about how deep this love that God shows us is. And John says, if we love one another the way that God loves us, we learn to abide in him. And if we love one another, we begin to know God. Jesus Christ said there are 2 commandments that matter. They were asking about all these commandments because that's what the Pharisees lived by. All these commandments that were given to Moses and the Israelites. And Jesus says there's only 2 that truly matter. 2 that everything else spawns from. And that is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, strength, soul, and mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. Even love enough to love your enemies. So I beg you, please, go out, Show that radical love and forgiveness to everyone you encounter. I don't care if it's hard, if you are genuine about a relationship with God. You must show him that you are committed to it. And I'm not saying you're going to get this perfect. No, because again, you don't know how to love until God shows you how to love. But you're saying, I abide in you. That is what it's all about. That is the only lesson we must learn, is we must abide fully in God, and he will abide in us. Let the Spirit guide you in everything that you do. All right, everybody. Please, I want you all to pursue this. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anyone except for you, to have that relationship. And you will see how much it opens up a new, beautiful world. All of the darkness that is around you turns to light. The broken people that you used to despise, you will begin to feel this compassion for. You look in the mirror and you see this person you don't recognize and you hate, and all of a sudden you see someone who is alive for the first time. You see a youthful vigor where the entire world is your playground. The entire world is something to be explored. And every person within it is there and is beautiful. God bless you all. See you soon.